So if you've been looking into infinite banking or 401k plans and you're not sure how they compare, the point of this video today is to break down each of those, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, and what's interesting is we're going to help you determine the overwhelming favorite. So stay tuned and find out which one that is. Hello everybody, I'm Matt.
And I'm Brian, and we're the Predictable Wealth Advocates. And what we do is we help ambitious millennials like yourself secure a predictable financial future without sacrificing their current lifestyle. And so today, let's have a little fun.
Okay.
Let's make a little comparison. And let me throw this out here first too, is that, most people think that 401k has been around forever. It hasn't. It's been only around for about 42 years. But everybody's doing it, so that's just kind of the way they gravitate. But
Mainstream.
It's mainstream. So let's pretend that I make you an offer.
Okay.
And in this deal, in this offer, you're going to put up 100% of the money. You're going to take 100% of the risk. But me as the manager or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to make money whether you make money or not.
Okay.
All right.
On my money. You're making money on my money.
Yeah, I mean, it's your money, but it's still a good deal. Okay. And the market could crash. Things could just go way south. It could drop by 10, 20, 50, 70%. But, you should consider doing it. I mean, don't you think that's a good deal?
Trick question, right?
No.
Okay.
Because that's what a 401k essentially is. What's the upside of a 401k then? Why do most people think it's a really, really good deal? Well, the biggest argument that I see is that, my employer's going to match the money that I put in. And you can, by the way, there's a limitation to that. You can only put in $18,500 per year, at least at the time we're recording this video. But there's no such thing as free money.
Sounds good to me.
Right? There's no such thing as free money. Matter of fact, we'll attach an article that you can read for yourself that talks a little bit more about that in detail if you like. But most people think, my employer is matching it, so it's a good deal. However, let's just put that to a side for a second. Most people they don't like to look at. However, one of the biggest things that most people don't even think of is that you don't have control of your money. And let me ask you a question. Same scenario. You're giving me this money and you can't take it out till you're nearly 60 years old without penalty. If I'm holding on to it for 20, 30, 40 years, is it really your money?
I mean, I don't believe so.
I don't know the answer, but if you don't have control over
Correct.
it or access to it without penalty,
Yeah.
so very little control. You don't have access to your capital. You're tying it up, and then there's so many fees involved that it kills the compounding effect, and so many hidden fees that we don't even think about. And again, the risk that's there is the market could crash 20, 30, 40, 50%, and then how challenging is it to get returns to the point where you're back to where you were in the very first place?
Right. So if you lose 50%, you literally have a 100% increase that year to get back up to
get
normal,
back to
right?
where you're at.
Right. Who's doing that?
Good question. So, but it's a good deal though, right? You'd take me up on that deal, right?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think you need to give me something better than that.
All right. Well, there's a few other options out there.
Okay, good.
And whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, or an employee, there's another option out there. So if you've been following our channel at all, if you've been looking into infinite banking or becoming your own banker or cash flow banking, that might be a good alternative. And I'm going to talk about why that is. So in many ways, 401ks are opposite of infinite banking. So with infinite banking, you don't have necessarily access to your capital, but you can take what's called a collateralized loan, which means if you need money, you can take it from there without penalty. So if something pops up where you need to buy a car or a home, or there's a real estate deal that comes up that you want to put money into, you can use infinite banking to be able to do that without penalty. So you've got access to capital in that way. Second thing is that you've got control. So with infinite banking, essentially, and it varies, but it can grow from anywhere from 3 to 6% every single year. Tax-free. Now that's the thing, it's tax-free. So with 401ks, it's tax deferred, but you get taxed on the growth. Wouldn't you rather get taxed up front rather on the seed money rather than what it grows into long term?
100%.
So that's a big challenge with 401ks. You get taxed on the growth, whereas infinite banking, you don't get taxed on the growth that takes place. The other thing with infinite banking that most people don't know compared to a 401k is that with 401ks, you got so many fees in there that kill your growth. Whereas with infinite banking, yes, there's a fee essentially that's made by the agent once they set you up properly. You also have access to learn from them if they're the right agent. That's what we do, is we connect you with the right people that can help you with that. But it's essentially a one-time setup fee, as opposed to a fee that continues to come in year after year that kills that growth.
Yeah.
Which one would you rather have? The answer's pretty obvious on that one, if you ask me. So last couple things, with 401k, you're limited to putting in only $18,500 per year, whereas with infinite banking, in most cases, and everybody's case is different, you can put in far more than that, which makes it an amazing place to be able to store and grow your money without the traditional risk. You know, insurance companies have been around for a long time, well over 100 years, and they have a track record of growing despite what the market is doing. As a matter of fact, they performed very well during the Great Depression even. So if you're looking for a way to grow your money without taking traditional risk and not get taxed on the growth, infinite banking makes sense in a lot of different ways.
Well, and to that point, I also think something that really got my eye and caught my attention when I was first deciding, which way should I go with this, is with the 401k, even if I could take the money out, I'm taking the money out of the policy. It's never growing from that point on. It's not compounding anymore. With infinite banking, if I borrow against the policy, the money is still in there, still accruing, still compounding, which is the cool thing to me.
That's the cool thing. And beyond that, with a 401k, once you pass, that money or that fund, however you want to put it, is taxed. Whereas with infinite banking, the way that's set up through whole life insurance policies, that gets passed on tax-free. So if you have a desire to create generational wealth or create a legacy or set your next generation up for success in this competitive world, that's an important thing to evaluate as well.
Well, and to that point, not every policy is set up properly for that. So just a whole life policy doesn't necessarily mean you're set up for your kids. Your kids could get taxed on that heavily if you don't set this up properly.
True.
So the agent is a big factor in there too. You want to make sure you've got somebody that you can trust and work with.
I think once you understand how the two compare and how there is no such thing as free money and everything that weighs down the growth and the risk that's associated with it, I personally understand why so many people are choosing to go the infinite banking route now.
And we're not here to tell you guys what you should or shouldn't do or what you need to do. It just happens to be what we found to be the most beneficial for ourselves, for a lot of our friends, and a lot of our family. For me personally, when I was making the decision of infinite banking, 401k, I had a 401k. And I literally just took the money out of it. I took the penalty for taking it out early, didn't care because I'm putting it in infinite banking, and that's going to grow and overwhelm what I was doing with the 401k in the long run. So it didn't matter to me. I just took it out. And a lot of people do that. So something to consider and something to think about. If you have more questions or you want to dive deeper into infinite banking, make sure you check out the other videos on our channel. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
So what we do is we help, good, essentially. And that's not according to pretty intelligent dude. Damn.